Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday training. This is a weekly training that I give for free to help you start to learn what patterns and strategies you're doing in your relationship that are not working, that are keeping you stuck. We are a space that loves to learn how we can start to rebuild and strengthen our relationship, especially those of us who've been with our partners for over a decade, if not more. I'm Katie Ressler. I'm a relationship strategist and licensed professional counselor, and I've worked in the field of psychology for 20 years. And I've been helping individuals, couples, and families to strengthen their communication and their connection. And specifically, over the last few years, I've been working with couples who are high achieving, goal driven, very motivated, but stuck in really unhealthy patterns. And they find that they're really successful in other areas of their life, but something's just not adding up when it comes to their relationship. And they keep getting stuck in the same issues, the same arguments. And at this point, there's just a distance growing between them. So I help them to figure out what's causing the distance and make it go away. So today we're talking about the repair skill that most couples and most people in general did not learn. And there's a big reason why we have not learned this repair skill. And largely it's because how we were parented, how we were raised in society and our culture and our school systems. So once I explain this, I think it's going to be very clear like, yes, I do have this struggle because most of us do. Okay. So I want to share with you a story. A few years ago, my husband and I were in a pretty heavy argument, kind of one of those where, it's on repeat about money. And we have different viewpoints about spending and saving and what that should look like. One, we come from different cultures. Two, different personality types. Like I'm psychology and art and all this kind of stuff. He's engineering, analytical, right? We got feeler and thinker. So there's just different ways that we process information. There's different ways that we make decisions, and they will come to a clash. I'm sure all of you understand that feeling. So we were in one of those, and it was just really heavy. And it was one of those moments where you just think like, we're just like, why? Why do we keep getting stuck in this? And how are we ever going to get out of it? And there was a point where I had said something that in that moment I even felt like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. You've been there where you're like, oh, that really like crossed the line there, did that thing. And he called me out on it. Good for him. Should do that, right? Like, hey, whoa. And I took a deep breath because my normal is to get defensive, which if you watched last week's training, like, whew, it's so easy to slip into that. But my normal is to get defensive and be like, well, you're doing all these things. And so, of course, this is what I'm going to say. And I took this big deep breath and I just thought, like, you screwed up. Like, you just need to take ownership here. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the outcome of the argument is, like, you screwed up. And so I stopped and I said, you're right. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't have said that thing. And it was amazing to watch my husband just sort of like, last week I talked about how these defensive walls come up in us so fast when we feel attacked or we're getting feedback or we feel criticized, even if our partner doesn't mean to. But one of the things when we're trying to repair, and in specific when we take ownership for our part, you'll notice that the walls come down. And it's literally physically something you can see if you're paying attention. It's a softening almost in their eyes and their face because it catches them off guard. And that is not the purpose to doing it. However, it is the outcome. It is the consequence of it. When you are able to take ownership, like I did in that argument, then it was like, oh, okay. We're not now going to raise up to a whole new level of argument where like somebody's going to slam the door and leave. Like we're in a space of like, how do we start to repair and come towards each other now while we're having this disagreement? We are not taught how to take ownership. And again, there's a really big reason think about the fact that in childhood, when we would admit we did something wrong, what would happen? For most of us, there was a consequence. We were grounded, something was taken from us, we got in big trouble. Our parents shared how disappointed they were in us. So why on earth are we going to grow up thinking being honest pays? It works out. Being honest specifically about the times I've messed up, the things I've done wrong. When I have said something wrong, done something wrong, hidden something, was secretive, whatever it might be, or didn't do something, but I don't want them to know, I always got in trouble as a kid. So why on earth in adulthood would I think that that's going to be any different? Because my subconscious brain is like, nope, we know what happens when we're honest and tell the truth. And most of us went into our teen years and into relationships in our 20s with that same, like, ooh, I don't like what it feels like when I get in trouble. Ooh, I don't like what it feels like when I disappoint someone or hurt them or cause them to be upset or cause them to question me or our relationship. So it's just easier for me to get defensive, reactive, deflect, point the finger at them, whatever it might be, lie. The story that ends up being built up is that we're not trustworthy, we're reactive, um, we're hurtful, we can't step back and take ownership, right? There's this story that starts to be created about our character and who we are that probably doesn't really align with us. So we were taught that being honest about mistakes and being honest even when it's not a mistake and we actually meant to do it and we just didn't, we hope we wouldn't get caught, right? That that causes punishment. And I think most human beings try to avoid punishment. We're not like, let me jump into this. We're like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. So what can I do to try to avoid, like dodgeball? Oh, no, I didn't do that. No, I don't know what you're talking about. You did that one thing, right? Like we're dodging instead of catching the ball and going, you're right. I did that. I'm out. I will step to the side because I can't play in this game anymore. I messed up. The fear that we have where it feels unsafe to be honest. It feels like it gives the other person power and control, like a parent and a child, is another reason why our nervous system goes, no, 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 red flags, we don't want this, protect, protect, walls go up. But one of the things we have to understand is we're adults now. I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I'm looking around going like, I'm adulting. This is the real world. I'm in it. So why do I keep treating taking ownership for my mistakes, taking ownership for the things that I say or do as something like a little kid would react? Why? And I want you to take a moment and just think about that for yourself. Why why do you react in such defensiveness instead of going, yeah, I did forget to do that thing again. Yes, I did roll my eyes at you. Yes, I went into fix it mode for the fifth time this week and you ask me every time to stop and I don't. Like, why don't we? Let's be honest. Some of it's we're not being thoughtful. We're not really thinking intentionally before we do it. We're in autopilot. So, one, that's a big issue, right? Two, some of us do it because we want to be able to like live our lives and not feel like we're constantly being watched or in trouble. And three, again, we don't want to hurt the person we love. And so for some reason, and by trying not to hurt them, we make it about them or we lie or we do things to like push it away. And the whole time, like the dodgeball game, it would just get resolved if we just catch the ball and be like, I, I, I'm it. Got hit. Now I realize in dodgeball, when you catch the ball, that other person's out. But you guys know what I mean. Like you can get hit by the ball. Like, okay, I take responsibility. I'm out. We have to train our nervous systems to start to understand there's not really a threat. I've shared this before. There's an interesting phenomenon around when a couple is in an argument and we're deflecting and we're defending, and I'll usually stop them and I'll be like, "What are you most afraid of right now?" Her being angry at me, him being disappointed in me. Okay, so you're acting like this is like life or death, yelling, you're getting so angry over your partner's emotions towards you. Emotions that are not life or death. Emotions that they have every right as a human being to have. Emotions that we can respect because we feel those at times too. And yet you're treating it like it's the end of the world. This is so horrible. I cannot believe you feel this way towards me. And so instead of me going like, gosh, I am so sorry I've caused this. I don't want you to feel this way about me. I don't want to cause you to be angry. I wasn't thinking when I did that thing and I'm really sorry. We make it about them. We make them being over emotional. We make them the problem. We make them being too analytical, too logical, trying to fix it too much, whatever, right? We just don't want to take ownership because our nervous system is like, this could be really bad. And for our nervous system, really bad is life or death. So we have to train our nervous system that taking responsibility actually can decrease the length of an argument, can disarm our partner's defenses against us, because then it's like, oh, I don't need to get defensive and reactive. It can allow us to save time and energy and even emotions if we go, I I did that. I did say that thing. I did do that thing. And we start to train our bodies and our brains to go, I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm not going to be grounded. Yeah, they may not want to talk to me a couple days, but would I want to talk to myself with what I did or said? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, right? They get to be their own human being. Hopefully they'll want to repair and we'll work on this. Um, you know, what are some things that I need to be aware of that, hey, because I take ownership, yes, it lowers their defenses and it takes away any of the argument they were about to put up again. Well, let me name all the times that you did this. Yes, I take full ownership. All of those times I forgot that thing. All of those times I really didn't listen. You're right. If we can step in our own integrity and be able to take that ownership, even I'd say before the argument, hey, I need to just let you know, I realized today I forgot that thing. I had to do that this week. It's funny as I'm teaching this, I'm like, oh, I had to do that this week. I did something in our home that I had forgotten. I told my husband I wouldn't do it because it bothers his allergies. So it's like lighting a candle, right? Like a certain smell that really bothers him. And I just had forgotten. I was just in the moment. I was like, oh, I can light this candle. I'm not happy. And of course, then the whole home has this smell. And I'm like, oh no. Oh, crap. So I immediately texted him. I am so sorry. I take full ownership. I lit this candle. I wasn't even thinking about it. And now the place has the smell that you don't like. I really apologize. And then I was like, and I vaguely remember telling you I wouldn't do this again. Cause I do. I vaguely remember saying, I won't do it anymore. I won't light that candle in particular. Oh, that was really tough because I could have just tried to like mask the smell, do something different. But I didn't. I took full ownership. And afterwards, when he came home, we did talk and he had kind of a hard question for me. Did you really forget that you said you wouldn't do this again? And oh, everything in me wanted to be like, well, what about the time? And then it was like, yeah, I really did forget, truly. And it wasn't until I was in the laundry room moving the laundry through that I was like, oh, crud, this is even worse. Like, I'm so sorry. I was, about to be in session. I wanted to relax and I put on this candle and I was like happy and yay and like, ah. And he's like, okay. And I could tell he was hurt because the reality is I committed to not doing something that affects his allergies. It makes him sneeze like crazy. Like that bothers him. And I wasn't being thoughtful and it wasn't on purpose, but I needed to be able to sit with his disappointment and his hurt that I wasn't paying attention to him. And of course I could defend. Well, I pay attention to all these other things. I take care of all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. No, I can just take ownership. I messed up. I did. And what was the beautiful thing is we didn't have to have an argument about it. It didn't have to become you keep messing these things up. Why do you keep doing that? And me then pointing the finger at him. No, because I was able to take ownership before we even got to the argument. So like, kudos if you can do that. And that it's very rare, to be honest, that I can really get in that place because I'm usually like, either I don't know it's really going to bother my partner or I'm aware and I'm like, hopefully you won't find out. Because it's never big things. For me, it's never big things. But I have to honor and respect for him emotionally. It might feel really big. You forgot that I have this allergy to this? I didn't matter enough that you would pay attention to these things? Well, that's not what I'm trying to do, right? Like, I could backpedal, let me over explain. No, I'd be like, I did forget. I love you. You matter to me. Your health matters to me. And I forgot. Both realities can exist, right? Both realities can exist. So, one of the things that I want us to sort of reframe in our minds is that by taking responsibility, it does not always equal punishment. And if it does equal a partner sharing their emotions and their hurt, that is not punishment. That's them having the open floor to say, here's the consequence of your action, your behavior, what you didn't do. This is how it makes me feel. And to be able to step into responsibility, which many of us in childhood tried to avoid because we didn't want to feel that. We didn't want to feel the punishment side of it. Now, one of the things that I want you to be aware of is that by taking responsibility, there's actually two things. One, you're not giving permission to what your partner may have said or done or not done. It's not like, oh, it's okay that you did this because I'm taking ownership. No, you're kind of being a lighthouse to this would be great if you do this too, without saying, it's kind of like forgiveness. You don't apologize and go, do you have anything you want to apologize for? You know, y'all have been there where you're like, well, is there anything you want to say you're sorry for after you've apologized? We're not, this is not that kind of thing. Like, I'm going to take ownership. Is there anything you want to take ownership for? Really control that in you. This is not a tennis match back and forth. It is, I'm stepping in my integrity. I messed up. I take ownership. If they're willing to, great. If they have done something, you wait after you've taken ownership. You wait till the conversation, I would even say maybe a day later, and go, hey, I was thinking about our conversation yesterday. And when you called me that name, when you said that thing, when you, whatever it was, right? When you forgot this thing again, I take full responsibility that I reacted in this way, but that piece hurt. And I'd like to have just a calm discussion about it so that I can, we can repair this, but I can let it go, right? You can still have the conversation about what they did if they are not willing in that argument to take ownership because their walls may have come up so high and yours hadn't met that high yet. So you were able to take the ownership and be like, ooh, I'm going to bring everything down and co-regulate. But if theirs needs more time, give it. Give it more time. If you feel hurt, then write it out, journal it out, talk to a safe, trusted friend or a counselor about it, and then come to your partner and have that discussion. This should not be who has the most pain and most hurt and who said the worst thing, right? Like, this is not what that's about. The second thing I want you to be aware of is that by taking ownership, this does not invite your partner to use that against you. And I think that is something we all have to be more aware of, that when our partner is vulnerable and goes, yes, I did say that thing, that a month later, we're not like, because you even knew you did it. You told me you did it. You took ownership. That's not what we're saying here, right? That you're not using this against your partner. It's great that they take ownership. It's great that you take ownership. It should not then become part of your defense later on. If there's a pattern of something and you're like, hey, I appreciate you take responsibility each time, and I'm seeing the problem keeps happening. So it does sort of feel like there is no resolution to this. There is no like, how do we get on the same page with this? Have that conversation. But don't bring up, well, 3 times you took responsibility for this. And then, now here we are again. And like, I'm supposed to believe you that you actually feel bad about it. Calmer conversations about these things in calmer moments. And as I've talked about before, down to 2 to 3 sentences of what it is of the hurt. But the key is it's not giving them permission when you take responsibility, that it's okay, whatever they did. And it's not giving them permission to use it against you. So if you find that pattern happens, you can say, I want to continue to be able to take responsibility. However, if it keeps being used against me, naturally, I'm not going to want to do it. So can you please stop doing that? And then you see where it goes. And if they catch themselves, oh my gosh, I used it against you. I'm so sorry. I know I've told you I won't. I'm really working on this. Great. You're working on it together. It's collaboration. But if they keep using it against you, then that's another discussion to have. Okay. So I'm really interested in what questions you have around taking responsibility. First, when I said the repair skill most couples never learned, what were you thinking? Were you thinking it was taking ownership? Did you realize that taking ownership has been impacted by your childhood and being punished or getting in trouble for some, or how you watched other people get in trouble, like your siblings, right? You learn from their mistakes. That shaped you into not wanting to take responsibility in your relationship now. Have you thought about that often the punishment you believe you're going to get from your partner is around their emotions? Yes, for some of you, the punishment is silence, and that feels awful. And that's about your partner needing to work on their issues around arguing. But I want you to really think about what is it you're trying to run from, deflect from, dodgeball against, right? Run, no, 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 I'm not getting hit. If it's really your partner's hurt and anger or fear or sadness or too many words, they talk too much, they say too many things when they're upset, and you just get flooded and you don't like that feeling of being flooded, then have those conversations, please, in a calm moment. Hey, I notice that often I do want to take ownership for things. However, when you share your emotions that you're upset, you talk a lot, you explain it in great detail, and then I'm gone. Can you please keep it to 2 to 3 sentences? And then it's a discussion about how to improve your communication dynamics. It's not you're a problem and I'm the problem and we're all problems. It's, hey, there's this behavior that you do and it causes this behavior in me and it's not effective. What is the way we can collaborate and change our patterns and our behaviors so that we connect, that we repair, that we have this difficult discussion without it leading to an immediately downward spiral? Okay. So tomorrow, for those of you in my paid community, I'm going to be giving you some scripts as well as some ways to have the discussion around taking responsibility that goes beyond like, okay, in the moment, what can we do? But also, what are the things, the foundations you can start to build as a couple together to be able to feel more comfortable taking responsibility, and as well as giving you some nervous system tools and skills to support you. Now, if you are watching this or listening to it in the replay and you have, you're in a relationship, you have a relationship where it's like, yeah, we are stuck in some of these patterns and cycles, I would love to invite you to get a level 10 relationship assessment. This is an assessment that I do with a couple, takes an hour, and I sit down with you and I look at the 7 core areas of your relationship and what are the challenges you're facing. And I get to listen to both sides of the story and help you create really a game plan for what would be our goals if we want to work on this. So it's not feeling like it's all up in your head or feeling like it's all about your partner and not about you. It's really about equal responsibility and giving you an actual on paper assessment that's about 10 to 12 pages that goes, okay, here's what we got to work on. Here are goals, short term goals, the things we can do, actionable steps that will support you. So if you'd love to get a level 10 relationship assessment, I'll make sure that information is below as well in the article so that you can go ahead and schedule yours today. Okay, I have enjoyed teaching you guys this week as always, and I will see you guys next week.